In 1977, a machine left Earth, silent and steady. Voyager 1, humanity's message in a bottle, drifted beyond the moon and snapped the first photograph of the Earth and its moon together from millions of miles away. It kept going, flying past Jupiter's moon Io in 1979 and discovering volcanic eruptions where no one imagined life. In 1980, it sailed past Saturn, and in 2012, it left the solar system altogether, crossing into interstellar space, a leap for mankind, or so we thought. On Earth, somewhere deep in a hostile war zone, an American special ops team crept through dusty streets under a fading sky. Their mission was urgent, dangerous. As they moved, gunfire crackled nearby. Two hostiles rounded the corner, but the soldiers reacted swiftly, taking them down without hesitation. With bombs booming in the distance and smoke crawling across rooftops, they pressed on, killing anything that got in their way. Upstairs, snipers positioned themselves on a crumbling balcony, offering support from above while the rest of the squad swept through the building like ghosts in a storm. One by one, enemies fell, leaving silence in their wake. Then, just as they returned to the open street, fighter jets sliced through the sky overhead. For a moment, the war felt manageable, until they turned a corner and walked straight into a trap. A full enemy squad waited for them. Gunfire erupted like thunder, and although the soldiers fought hard, the enemy numbers were overwhelming. One of their own was shot, and Rhodey lifted him, bullets whipping past. They ducked into alleys, returning fire, covering each other. But despite Rhodey's efforts, his wounded comrade bled out in his arms. He was too late. The team tried to retreat, calling for backup, when suddenly everything changed. The air thickened. A strange red glow spread across the sky like a wound tearing open the clouds. Everyone stopped, enemies and allies alike, staring upward in stunned silence. A shape descended, massive and mechanical, bathed in red light. Without warning, a beam erupted from the craft, instantly obliterating the enemy squad. Then the glow shifted to white and bolts of electricity ripped through the air, striking the American soldiers. They screamed as their bodies lifted from the ground and vanished into the light. When they awoke, time felt warped. Each soldier was trapped in some kind of pod, lungs filled with fluid, bodies limp. They gasped and choked as the stasis goo poured from their mouths. Jax, disoriented but oddly knowledgeable, called it stasis resin and said it would dissolve soon. But none of them understood how he knew that. All of them remembered the battlefield, the lightning, and then nothing. They looked around. Metallic walls glowed faintly. Strange markings covered the surfaces, symbols that looked alien, yet somehow familiar. Reyes found a plaque listing their names and ranks. It was unsettling. Their weapons were fully loaded. Everything was operational, but they weren't on Earth anymore. Leader Kelly took charge. They needed to move before whatever took them returned. They found a massive circular door sealed tight. The button didn't work, so they forced it open together. Beyond it lay a new corridor, and another door, this one knocked off its tracks, as if something had violently broken through. Rhodey noticed a small vent hatch nearby. Reyes crawled through it with a flashlight in his mouth, navigating a claustrophobic maze until he emerged on the other side. The rest of the team followed. The corridor beyond was lined with scars, burn marks, broken panels. It felt like a battlefield. Nash guessed they were in a secret underwater prison. Strange sounds echoed through the halls. Something was moving. Then they found the first horror, a trail of blood. It led to bodies hanging upside down from the ceiling, decapitated. Kelly led a smaller team to investigate further. In the next room, they found a woman chained to a surgical table, alive. She spoke a different language. They freed her. She gasped, confused, terrified. Suddenly, a monster attacked. Towering, armored, and furious, it slashed Gibbs across the chest and sent him flying. Bullets were useless. It knocked down the soldiers like toys. Only Rhodey, wielding a strange alien weapon they'd found earlier, managed to activate it and blast the beast to the ground. But it wasn't over, until the woman picked up a fallen weapon and finished the job with one clean shot. They asked questions, but she said nothing and walked away. With Gibbs dead, the rest followed. Down another corridor, they encountered another alien. This one fired a laser weapon and brought Robbie down in an instant. More aliens joined. The team ran, lasers tearing past them. They managed to seal a door shut. Kelly jammed a knife in to hold it and told Jax to keep going with Robbie. On the other side, Reyes stayed behind, buying time. As the aliens broke through, he opened fire. One grabbed his leg and dragged him out of the vent. Rhodey reacted instantly, aiming and exploding the creature's head. The rest of the team escaped. In the next chamber, they discovered something unimaginable. Thousands of glowing pods. Inside each was a human. Jax leaned in closer and realized they weren't lights. They were people. Robbie called them sleepers. They rested briefly. Robbie's wound bled. Kelly patched her up. Nash, unnerved, wondered aloud if these were demons, not aliens. Were they trapped in some version of hell? Soon, they entered a vast hangar. Containers towered above them. Robbie explained it was filled with Earth artifacts, everything stolen. Jax volunteered to lure the enemy. He stepped into the hall and began to sing. It worked. The aliens followed the sound. Jax ran back to the hangar, leading them straight into the team's ambush. Gunfire echoed. The aliens fell. It was almost too easy. That's when the second wave arrived. Stronger, smarter, equipped with shields. They advanced fast. Jax was hit, dead before he hit the ground. Nash lost control, screaming, emptying his rifle in fury. The team fled, sliding into a pit of corpses and rotting flesh. The stench overwhelmed them. Then, a voice called down. It was Robbie's mother, Anya. She lowered a rope. One by one, they climbed up. Anya, a grizzled Russian soldier, had been here for decades. Her hideout was covered in drawings and old war gear. She explained everything. Voyager's golden record had invited these monsters. They weren't peaceful. They were conquerors. They used Earth's own minds, military leaders, strategists, plugged into alien devices to learn our tactics. That's why the soldiers remembered things they never learned. The aliens had studied them, trapped them in war simulations for decades, watching every move. Earth had fallen in weeks. The humans were trophies. But Robbie's father had sabotaged the ship. That's what woke them up. And now, Anya needed their help to finish what he started. The aliens were trying to reconnect with their home planet. If they succeeded, a second wave would follow. The team agreed. They would fight. Anya handed them explosives and gear. They climbed vents toward the top deck. Rhodey and Kelly volunteered to distract the guards while Nash and the women planted the bombs. A firefight erupted. Rhodey stayed behind, knowing he wouldn't make it. He drew his sidearm, charged into the corridor, and let the grenades in his vest do the rest. The explosion shook the ship, but more aliens arrived. Anya stayed behind, triggering the detonator as her daughter screamed her name. The blast tore through the command center, taking her and dozens of monsters with it. Nash grabbed Robbie and ran, but more creatures followed. He lured them away, singing the same song Jax did. He stood at a dead end waiting to die, but decided to fight instead. When the noise stopped, Robbie came out, only to find another alien waiting. Meanwhile, Kelly had been captured and thrown into a cell. Robbie was locked up too. When aliens came for Kelly, Nash ambushed them and rescued his friend. Together, they stormed the corridors, killing every alien in their path, freeing prisoners from their cells. In the final moments, surrounded and running low on ammo, Nash threw his belt full of grenades. Kelly slammed the door shut just as the explosion lit up the hallway. Silence fell. They had survived,